Thank you very much. Great to be here with you this morning, and appreciated the questions, so pertinent to what I'm getting ready to talk about, and Cal alluded to it. But great to be here. Thank you for having me. I was a dentist for 37 years, but now my job is to come up here and represent about 750,000 people in the district that I represent, 36. I believe that the legislation I'm here to talk to you about today, H.R. 5310, the Municipal Infrastructure Savings and Improvement Act, is a fulfillment of my duty and what I'm doing in Congress. I must say, though, as I wrap up here, I'll have to head to the airport to go back to my district, and I'd like to begin telling you a little bit about my district, if you don't mind. I'm actually only the second person to represent the 36th District of Texas, since it was one of 4 new congressional districts in Texas that were added after the last census. And I found that it's a good way to explain to people in Washington just how fast our state of Texas is growing. It's truly a phenomenon. The district has 9 counties stretching from the industrialized eastern edge of Houston, the Port of Houston, Johnson Space Center, all the way over to the Louisiana line where we have rice farming, and north up into the old timber Charlie Wilson country of timber-producing counties, where my wife Roxanne and I have lived for 40 years now, raising our 5 children, and now spend as much time as we can with our 14 grandchildren. There are a lot of things in my district that you can't say about any other district. First, we now have the rather infamous record of the most rainfall, approximately 55 inches, from a single weather event ever as a result of Hurricane Harvey. Now we have a new continental record that we can point to our district and proudly say that we were inundated at one time. And for those of you from cold weather states, I want to kind of give you a picture of just how much rain this is. Picture that as 40 feet of snow piling up in your driveway. This unprecedented storm caused widespread damage, much of it in areas that had never seen flooding before. There's been a massive recovery and rebuilding effort. It is well underway, driven by a disaster relief package that we passed in Congress of more than $90 billion. Another aspect of my district that we're happier about is that we have more petrochemical refining facilities and manufacturing capacity than any district in the country. More than 150 facilities employing thousands of my constituents. And these facilities build the plastic, the vinyl, and composite products that we use every day and ship all over the world out of places like the Port of Houston, as I said, that I represent, and along with 3 other ports that I represent. Why do I mention these 2 things? On the first, there already are and will continue to be massive investments by the federal government in public works and infrastructure projects. And second, under current law, regulation and precedent, these innovative products that are made there in my district are often completely shut out of being considered for use in many of these projects. The Municipal Infrastructure Savings and Improvement Act that we have just dropped yesterday is only 3 pages long. It's not long, but I'm convinced that if we can pass it into law, it would improve the way that our government spends billions of dollars every year and reinvigorate our public works projects with new, efficient, and innovative technology and materials. The way that we do this is very, very simple. We allow the engineers, the architects, and other construction professionals who we trust to build, like the roof over our heads in this room, to make these decisions about what materials to use in federally funded projects. Right now, municipal authorities are very glad to accept federal taxpayer funds for projects in their cities, but with strings attached, their own strings. These municipalities severely limit which supplies and materials can be used for these construction projects, deciding beforehand what gets used and preventing innovative new products from even being considered. Municipal Infrastructure Savings and Improvement Act does not dictate or direct any kind of product whatsoever. I've got the bill right here as I held it up. There's not one mention of steel, iron, or PVC pipe. All it says is to let the project managers decide what is best, and explicitly guarantees that these decisions are made by the professionals and not by politicians. This bill is about transparency and a commitment to innovation. I'm willing to bet that most Americans are unaware that local politics are in a semblance crippling innovation, driving up the cost of infrastructure projects and making those projects less efficient. This increases utility costs not only on government and business, but on the middle class and low-income families as well. It makes no sense to spend limited federal infrastructure dollars and undermine the standard of living for all Americans without at least checking to see if there is a more cost-efficient alternative. My very simple bill can bring transparency to this process, save money, and expand the use of these innovative technologies. And I strongly support President Trump's call for renewing and rebuilding our nation's infrastructure. This is one of the biggest things that we have on the plate as we go forward this year. And on the Transportation Committee on which I serve, it will be our responsibility to get these bills to the floor that accomplish that goal. The Municipal Infrastructure Savings and Improvement Act is exactly the type of legislation that I think we need to balance reasonable federal investment with reforms to get these projects built ahead of time and to last. So I want to thank you again for having me here.